From WXII 12 News, this is breaking news.
Breaking news, it's in his hands now. Senator Richard Burr currently reading a whistleblower complaint against the president.
Right. Burr is, of course, the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, North Carolina's senior United States senator. He says this report was hand-delivered to him this afternoon.
Now, folks, this is the report that set off the chain of events that led the House to begin formal impeachment proceedings.
The president just finished a press conference, and let's go to Brianna Connor. What was the biggest takeaway from President Trump this afternoon at the UN?
Yeah, the president really stuck to the script. He called this a witch hunt and a hoax, while at the same time saying he wants full transparency on the report. This report has to do with a phone call between President Trump and the leader of Ukraine. In the call, the president asked for a favor, an investigation into Joe Biden and his son. The transcript of that phone call was released today. Democrats accused the president of using a foreign government to try and boost his political campaign. Joe Biden, of course, being his top political rival. The president says he didn't do anything wrong.
The witch hunt continues, but they're getting hit hard on this witch hunt because when they look at the information, it's a joke. Impeachment for that?
The phone call is one piece of the whistleblower complaint. Members of the House and Senate Intelligence Committee now have that full report, and hearings with the acting director of national intelligence will begin tomorrow.
Brianna, thank you very much. Staying in our nation's capital, Congressman Ted Budd of North Carolina says he does not think there is anything to this report.
In fact, he says Democrats are treating this whole thing like a game.
This is like that old game of Mad Libs where you fill in the blank, and we're just seeing now they have a phone call supposedly with the president. But look, I've got every word of the transcript right here, and I read through, and I see nothing there that is any impeachable offense. I think our Democrats were just hoping that this would be the Mad Lib that would finally catch and would lead to an impeachment. But now it's just another inquiry.
Now, this is not just a big topic in Washington. No, Republicans and Democrats here in the triad are pointing fingers at each other as well.
Yeah, Bill O'Neill continues our team coverage now from Greensboro.
A spokesman for the local Democrats says the party had no alternative but to move forward with impeachment. Meantime, the spokesman for the local Republican Party says that Democrats made a mistake.
The mood is facts should always stand. We should wait and see what the facts are, of course, but Democrats are rushing to assumptions.
Honestly, our base at this point just feels that the corruption is so blatant that we have a moral imperative to go ahead with it.
According to White House records, during a phone call with Ukraine's leader, President Trump asked him to, quote, do us a favor, urging an investigation of Joe Biden.
A reasonable person can conclude that that's pretty much the definition of violation of the public trust.
UNCG political scientist David Holian says the president's own words seemingly meet what the founding fathers had in mind when they implemented impeachment, but adds there's no roadmap for Congress to follow.
Plenty of wiggle room for Nancy Pelosi, for Mitch McConnell to sort of shape the process, potentially to their individual benefits. So, there's a lot. It's going to be an interesting process, and there's a lot we don't know about it.
Not surprising, leaders of Guilford County's Republican and Democratic parties see impeachment from completely different points of view.
I think there is a sense of relief or that it's long overdue. So there is support within the party, a great deal of support to move forward with this.
Well, I think it shows how desperate the Democrats are going into 2020. Nancy Pelosi said it would divide the country. Originally, the impeachment process was, and now she's thrown that out the window. And I think they realize they're going to have a hard time at the ballot box, and they don't want it solved at the ballot box.
UNCG political scientist David Holian says that Nancy Pelosi would not move forward with impeachment unless she was very confident she had the 218 votes needed to win. In Greensboro, Bill O'Neill, WXII 12 News.
Thank you, Bill. And you can look for new details on the whistleblower report, impeachment proceedings, and the president's comments tonight at the bottom of the hour on NBC Nightly News. It begins at 6:30 right here on WXII.
Absolutely belligerent. That's exactly how an officer described the behavior of the CEO of Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina during his DWI arrest in June.
The company did not fire Patrick Conway, but the state's insurance commissioner is now calling for him to resign.
That's right. Kirsten Gutierrez is following the story very closely tonight in studio. Kirsten.
Talitha, when Mike Cosley took office, he promised honesty would be a top priority as insurance commissioner and swore he'd hold people accountable. Now he's doing just that, asking CEO of Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina, Patrick Conway, to resign. Conway was arrested June 22nd in Archdale after investigators say he slammed into the back of a Harris Teeter tractor trailer. Video from our NBC affiliate in Raleigh shows the moments leading up to his arrest. As you can see, the SUV driven by Conway is swerving erratically across Interstate 85. Now, eventually, he sideswipes a tractor trailer. Investigators say his children were in the backseat of the car at the time, but fortunately, no one was injured. Police documents state Conway was absolutely belligerent, stating Conway asked the officer multiple times to let him go. Once handcuffed, Conway told the officer, quote, "You had a choice, you made the wrong one. I haven't done anything wrong. You should feel disappointed." Because of his behavior, police put him in a holding cell. The documents say he yelled, cussed repeatedly, and began kicking and beating the holding cell door. Causey says he doesn't take this incident lightly and believes his arrest was covered up for months. He says the board failed to do their job, and now it's time for change.
Dr. Conway showed a lack of professionalism, respect, and composure for law enforcement officers and the legal process. As Commissioner of Insurance, I cannot move forward with any type of trust and confidence in this CEO.
Causey wants Conway to resign as soon as possible. Now, we reached out to Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina for a response this morning and have yet to hear back. Conway is due in court October 8th in Randolph County. Talitha?
All right, thank you so much, Kirsten. We'll be following this very closely. And folks, you can read the full arrest report on WXI12.com. WXII was the only local TV station to live stream the insurance commissioner's press conference this morning. Be sure to like the WXI12 News Facebook page to get notifications anytime a live stream begins.
A man seriously injured in a motorcycle crash remains in the hospital tonight. The crash shut down part of Indiana Avenue in Winston-Salem for hours. Officers say Anthony Williams was on a motorcycle when he struck an SUV. Right now, crash scene folks are still trying to figure out exactly what went wrong. Williams remains in serious condition. Paramedics treated the other driver for injuries which were minor.
High Point police say a man shot in the chest called 911 before he died. Officers responded to Filbert Place last night. They say someone shot William McKinnons III at least once. He died at the hospital, according to investigators who also tell us that McKinnons had a brief conversation with the suspect before the shooting. They have not released any details about who the suspect could be. A suspect wanted in a triple shooting case out of High Point turned himself into police. He's right here. Isaiah Rory, charged now with first-degree murder and assault with a deadly weapon. Investigators say that Rory killed 17-year-old D'Anthony Little last week. 2 other people in the car with Little were also shot. They are expected to recover.
Tonight, the new president of Bennett College in Greensboro is sitting down for her first television news interview since taking that position. Suzanne Walsh says she is extraordinarily hopeful that she and her staff can get the school fully accredited as soon as possible. Right now, the college is accredited, but on a temporary basis. That could change depending on a federal court's ruling. The college lost its accreditation because of financial issues, even after raising millions upon millions of dollars. Now the college is suing the accrediting group. President Walsh says her staff is sorting through data right now and working to get permanent accreditation with the very same group or perhaps with a different one if that's an option. She says she is the right person for this big task.
I don't run away from challenges. I love working on thorny, difficult problems that matter deeply to humanity. And so I am really interested in this job because it means being able to come in at a moment in time where the college and the community is ready to reinvent itself. That's just the kind of problem I like to work on.
And to hear more from the new president, again, this was her first television interview. Visit our website, WXII12.com.
New at 6, the interim president of UNC System says he is not interested in making this his permanent job. Bill Roper told the Board of Governors that he will serve until June of 2020. He says setting a clear time frame will give leaders enough time to find a permanent president. Roper previously served as the CEO of UNC Healthcare and the dean of the UNC School of Medicine. Now, Bill Roper will be in the Triad tomorrow. He's going to meet with the UNC School of the Arts Board of Trustees to discuss the chancellor search, and the former chancellor also stepped down in July to take the CEO position at UNC TV. A North Carolina pastor from the Triad met with the U.S. representatives today.
Yeah, sure did. Pastor J.D. Greer is the president of the Southern Baptist Convention, and this afternoon he opened the house in prayer.
Almighty Father, we ask you for your help in guiding the affairs of this great nation.
He originally grew up in Yadkin County and went to church in Winston-Salem. He now pastors the Summit Church in the Raleigh-Durham area. And he also met with a number of representatives today, including members of Congress from the Piedmont Triad, Mark Walker and Ted Budd.